Restart. 2 laps to go. Will it be Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, or someone else? Keselowski slipping while Harvick clears Kyle Busch for the race lead. Danica into the wall, spinning back down into traffic. White flag is out. This is the last lap of the race. Does Harvick have enough fuel to get back here? See Kyle Busch almost spinning there inside of Denny Hamlin. They're coming to turn 3. Patrick is driven away from the scene. Dry spell for Kevin Harvick and Richard Childress Racing comes to a close at Phoenix. He slides to the finish line while they crash behind him. Keselowski threads the needle as cars crash to the checkered flag.
I don't understand why they didn't throw the caution there. The 10 car was losing a lot of fluid.
Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, all torn up. Patrick in the middle of it.
She's just trying to get out of there. Man. You're going to have to rethink how you do things in these races. You know what? This is my point. This track sucks. They need to, like, do away with it. Too many turns. Crazy.
Look at the side of the new championship leader's car.
He's lucky. That's all he's got.
Very, very fortunate. Yeah, that's a situation where you can't let that dictate. When there's an accident, the caution has to be thrown. I realize what we've been through and trying to get this done, but the circumstances shouldn't dictate that whatsoever.
Boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the Tubosphere. Welcome to the One Man Sports Rant, Gen 2.0. I am your juggling act, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. So which of the big 3 are we going to be talking about today? Other than what the title suggests, that'll be coming up soon. Don't change the channel. There's plenty of sports highlights coming up. The reason I say that, I looked at the average attention span, videos in the past, 2 minutes. Well, it takes more than 2 minutes in the past to get this show going. Maybe I wasn't clear enough, alright? We're not talking no 30-second clip either, or a $1.14, or even a $1.59. You know, the beauty of doing a show is you end up with a significantly, still slight and brief, longer highlight reel than all those other ones that I just mentioned that are all over YouTube. That's not the goal of this show here. Now, how is that possible? It's a little thing called the DCMA, which we adhere to strictly around here. The Digital Copyright Millennium Act. As the key tenets were hashed out as it pertains to YouTube more than ever. Really came about because of the Napsters of the world. Through WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. And these are the fair use standard, derivatives, minimal use, no money exchange in hands, because the OMSR is a pro bono production. So I understand if a show's not your cup of tea. You can always fast forward on average 8 minutes, you know, thereabouts. We try to do at least 6 minutes worth of highlights. There. So you can go, do I have anybody's attention at this point? I'm in at 43. Plus the intro, so that's my 2 minutes. I guess I'm up. I may not be talking to anybody. I'm not sure. I'm not dissing you guys watching now. I'm talking about how it was in the past. Alright, so you heard from Motley Crue. It's going to be our lead-into for a while, and are introduced by our Pi Kappa Alpha House Sweethearts, U of U chapter, Alpha Tau. Giving you props. So, yeah, all of these things being said, one more very important thing. This show is copyrighted to the OMSR with brief video highlights courtesy to CBS, NBC, ABC, ESPN, Pac-12 networks, and or any of their affiliates. The OMSR does not own these video highlights, but does own all the other original content and the overall concept herein, thereof, therefore, most rights reserved. Now, one more note, to change it up a little bit. All images not of OMSR provenance were obtained through the public domain. Now, anybody out there going, hey, you're sort of like using that without our permission, we want you to take it down. Watch my dust. But everything done on this show is within the confines of the defines of the aforementioned DCMA. Alright, so before we get to it in the clipboard, what is the sports subject we are talking about specifically, other than what the title says? Yeah, so that intro, couple of graphics right there, sort of tell another tale. So just hear me out. Go back and see for yourself. At the 1 minute mark of the start of this show, or what's the full 1 minute in, minus the seconds from the intro and the other graphics. What we're talking about here, as I'm like fumbling over my words, I know what I'm trying to say here. I'm just trying to remember how the order of it went. Okay, the 1 minute mark, either at the start of the show or 1 minute in, showing that highlight. As the commentators say, Danica Patrick's driven away from the scene, you can clearly see where her smoke screen was. Wasn't clouding her forward vision. She intentionally bypasses pit road. So on the Life Brand Sports Round of the day, I got to ask y'all out there, what did she think she was doing? Was she seriously trying to complete the final lap? Because obviously everybody coming up behind her was in the final lap. She was going to seriously try to finish with that happening to her car. Be the bigger person, and maybe she didn't realize, I'll grant you there's possibilities, how bad that smoke screen was. But I got to think, looking behind her, she couldn't see anything. You got your two darlings of NASCAR who aren't really quite up to stuff like they used to be. And I suppose that's, the evolution of the sport. Your up-and-comers and your downers, they have their moments in the sun. It's a competitive sport, for sure. But, like in football and basketball, there's some hard plays. Every once in a while, a dirty play. And you see guys reacting to it. The big difference is you're reacting to it mano a mano. I think NASCAR drivers need to take a step back and look at this entire situation, and I would submit that a lot of you out there would agree with me that to react that way when you're in a car is a very, very bad combination. Alright, so in terms of interesting analysis of the clip order coming up, pay attention, the last couple clips coming up. It's great close-ups and first-person perspective. And I agree with Duke saying, where was the caution? And you'll probably see her get dinged for not having taken pit row. Again, the problem is this track. It's too narrow. She should have realized, with all the other restarts that were going on, throughout this race, that she was taking a big chance. People, punching it, trying to get to the finish line, get wherever they can, the race for the chase. And she bypasses pit road. It's a 2-minute warning, so don't go on time. Alright, so let's go back to our music lead into Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls. Alright, Kim Pock here. Never asked Kim questions about NASCAR. It's too dynamic and fluid of a situation. Alright, so for Gen 2.0, thanks for watching. Later days and more signature plays.
In the middle of the racetrack. Look at the streak. Wow. Brad Keselowski, very, very fortunate he got back there without more damage. Wow, some hard hits right here.
Wow.
Look at Danica.
So it's right there. Oh. What a mess.
Look at Harvick. Look at it.
See Harvick just power sliding through there. A lot of cars. Oh, man. Kurt Busch hit a ton.
Ryan Newman took a couple of hard hits.
Mr. Jim car to wall, the inside lane, coming to the checker here. Come on through here, let's get through here. There you go. I want that P5. Big wreck behind you now. Gonna have a big wreck behind you. A lot of
hard way to get a top 5 finish. That's what